There's obviously been a lot or enough, I suppose, action which has been taken in terms of trying to deal with the hunger, the fact that there's lack of resources, lack of water, and many UN agencies, WFP, UNFPA, the Migration Organization have been in there trying to deal with the symptoms of the crisis. But I think in terms of climate change, which is what we call the disease, not a lot is being done right now, unfortunately.
Now, Mandipa, as a cultural rights researcher for the region, what concerns you most when it comes to children and nutrition?
Children are really bearing the brunt of it. And the UNICEF has actually said that the climate crisis is a child's rights crisis. Not only do they suffer of lack of food, there is a big drought that's been happening on. It is a drought that is consecutively happening for the fourth year now, and children also have very child-specific rights, such as the right to education. And many children have not been going to school in Madagascar because their parents really cannot feel that they cannot send their children to school unfed. But also sometimes their parents feel like their children can go and make money or do some sort of wage paying employment in order to subsidize, because the families have lost so much income.
So you paint a very grim picture of the situation in Madagascar. How can the international community help?
We need to get the food and the water to people so that they can survive today and they can survive tomorrow. And then the medium-term needs are mitigation and adaptation. So we need, countries, wealthier countries which are in a position to be able to do so, to be able to finance Madagascar, and other countries in their position to be able to put in place structures which mitigate and which can adapt to the current climate crisis.
What are the immediate measures that COP26 that just ended put in place specifically for Madagascar to deal with the effects of climate change?
There weren't enough. The climate finance, which many countries committed to, which was supposed to be, I think, 100 billion by, I think, 2020, was not met. But there weren't that many commitments made directly in relation to what you call loss and damage, which is basically when wealthier countries kind of compensate less wealthier countries for climate change destruction that has happened in their countries.
Talk to us a little bit about the needs of women, especially pregnant women, the kind of grim pictures we're seeing coming out of Madagascar. How are those women coping?
Unfortunately, this massive drought that has just hit Madagascar was also coupled with a COVID crisis. So things like child marriage become a little bit more common, or domestic servitude, where they basically sell their daughters off, and then this results in sometimes pregnancies, and even women who fall pregnant and unfortunately will not be able to have the kind of services that they need. And so women will be the people who engage in very, very negative kind of coping mechanisms, such as eating less food, starving basically, so that their children can eat. I think a lot of people think about climate change as something that's happening in the future. It's actually not. It's something that's affecting people right now, people who have contributed the least to it, and who are bearing the brunt of our own emissions. The situation that they're in is it's abominable.